Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm your host, PGF, Persecuting Fighter. This is my first time I have voice recorded on this channel, so I apologize for my voice due to the stutter, the accent also.
For the past 2 years, I faced with all bosses. Sometimes, some bugs might appear, like for example, Sensei. And Shin. Maybe it happens sometimes, but due to the patch of some bosses, it's more enhanced and lots of rework to be accomplished. Not just this one, AI knows our movements in advance, but maybe they're aggressive as the difficulty increases, and maybe 1 to 3 shades added to the enemy. Now, we have 24 bosses from Act 1 to Act 4 to scope on their abilities and skills, and to rank them in each boss. But before that,
If you watch this video, please like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. If you have suggestions about ranking on the tier list, leave a comment below. Without further ado, let's get started.
the first boss appeared is Sensei. He is extraordinarily talented with a tearing effect on their both hands to break their blocks using punches with critical hit. Not only that, after a few seconds, a blue one has a momentum, so dodge Sensei attacks to expire his ability, or if you hit, you'll send in the air. I think Sensei is good, not because of his ability, but aggressive and challenging of his skill. So overall for Sensei, I'll give him a rank B. Next second boss on Act 1, Needle, has the poison ability with DOT applied damages to the player. Your maximum poisons can be teared down. It'll reduce if no one hits. If it successfully reaches by hitting 5 times, Toxic Cloud appears and damages to the player also. In my gameplay, the enemy DOT poison kinda slows my damage. Now since Needle's DOT poison blocks more damage, so I give a C to her. Moving on to the third boss, Ghost. His ability to blind the player using magic. It is impossible to see, but you have the sense while it flashes and until it sees. I forgot the icon on the right side. Let me know what it is. For me, dodging on the right time or if he's about to use magic, go for a lower hit. So I didn't expect that much for him, but maybe good. After analyzing on him, I'll go for C. Lynx is the next fourth boss. Has an ability to hit and attach the bomb onto the player. The last time was the final boss. After the bomb countdown, it explodes and damages the player. That invisibility occurs and marks the player as his ability, but you can tell his movements by throwing strikes to interrupt his invisibility. Maybe a bit annoying due to the bombs attached. In order to prevent bombs on you, dodging would be the best alternative, so you won't get in trouble. After analyzing, so I'll give him a B. The next bit boss is Cleric. The old update uses Elixir, but doesn't spams you. Yep, that happens. For the new update, it spams and interrupts your next attack. Now, Cleric has a 3 buff elixirs. Kinda good to be honest with his spamming attacks. So, keep distance to avoid interruption from spam attacks that he's about to use it with his excellent skill and ability. So, I'll give him an A.
The last boss on Act 1, Corsair, one of the Titan's bodyguards from SF2. The old update has him spams, only spawn breaks, but no damage chance stealth even call it itself. When new update arrives, he stealthily collects to gain a reflected shield. The right with a C icon called Ccto just saw that I uploaded found a while, so check it out if you have time, and later for the last part. When it's time for the big guns, laser hit attacks, and some multiple shots. If the shield grows and it hits, you will be blasted by the shield. So, fair point for Corsair, and I'll give him a B for his skill. Done on Act 1, and let's move on to Act 2. Next is Reaper. Yeah, I find a bit funny. Nice timing, bruh. Anyways, he has a tearing on the tail of Osaka, and the wording red cyclone can be greatly to break the block. So, in my opinion, it's not that hard though, and I expect to hit into the corner to prevent it, and do DOT or cold damage over type effects if you have to finish it fast. And I expect less for Reaper, so I gave him a B for his remarks. Next, we have two Lockbirds, Bird and Rhino. Bird has a pink eagle aura that deals critical damage and resets up using. And if Bird defeats, Rhino steps in to protect her based on the scenario. He has a green lotus aura. If I'm mistaken, let me know. This aura restores 5% of his max health if it hits, and resets up the using to continue. On the final round, it's either Bird or Rhino to step in, and transfer his or her power to stand on the last round based on the final picture. Yeah, I forgot Rhino about his abilities. His ability will slam the ground if I'm unaware, but it's nothing for me that I jump on the right time, or if it's close, jump with a kick. Fair, but not much for the both, and it's okay with no regrets. This boss could be the easiest one, so I'll go for C. Then, Redhead is the third boss on Act 2. Has an ability to hit, and that player becomes gold state with a short block. Then for his last health bar, activates the aura for buff and for healing. Yeah, you might find the point, isn't it? In my personal opinion, it is better to dodge from these attacks from a short blockout and strike it back with tactics. A fair expectation for Redhead, so I'll give him a B as well. The fourth boss is Hermit. From the start, he uses magic to summon the lightning, but you have to jump with a kick to prevent it. And it has a temporary shield with 50% damage reduction if I'm not mistaken, please let me know. Plus, a lightning arrow appears, and a summon lightning to it. So, I guess I'm okay for B. Now for the fifth boss, Spark. She has a fast recharge magic to use immediately, and surprisingly, a 3-in-1 fire elements. That sense of you translates from a Japanese word, he, or it says fire, meaning if it hits from fire, you receive damage as well. And the sign disappears after she uses magic. That could be annoying if she uses more magic. The more you hit, the more she recharges faster than usual. Well, that's a very good boss part since always across the wall, unlike some previous bosses. With her good ability and skills as well, I'll give her an A. And for the last 6th boss, Guru, one of the Titan's bodyguards from Ccto. And the ability summons a sword like family tree aura that temporarily stuns the player. Yeah, I stay away before he uses 2, and it appears and damages for a short time. That charge appears to be hit, that's a magic damage. And that small charge hits a storm front, if I'm not mistaken. So stay away or you'll be struck down with lightning. Also, stay away from the tree aura to have no effect on you, or you end in stun. After my analysis, I'll have to give him B, but due to the range of the 3 aura, so I'll go for an A to him. That's it for the Act 2, now move on for the first boss is Brick. Those buttons has multiple types of slashes and strikes to be hit, but make sure to keep an eye on him. With that, he has a boulder magic too, but I dug with a super slash in it. And that magic sends me a springboard to the top. I wasn't aware though. And the final phase, it has an aura to knock down and interrupts your counter attack at the break of his last bar. Keep in mind of the last bar in the right corner. So, due to my gameplay, I consider to give him a B. At least not much aggressive to him. I think you've seen for the first time in Shades is Boss Yonghui if I'm pronouncing Korean. A second boss on Act 3 has a win of both kicks to trigger, jump kick and low sweep. Make sure to dodge their attacks. Their kicks does have a momentum, so keep an eye on her or you'll send to heaven while she's laughing. Oops, sorry. So, plus points for her, but not almost due to dodging from their attacks on my gameplay. So I'll put her in a B rank. For the third boss, Captain, I was unexpectedly triggered from the super slash, so due to the strike, it has a tearing dive effect, and when it hits, heals about 5% of his max health. So run for your life. Just kidding. That could be funny if we keep dodging. When first health bar receives damage, summons a fire on both corners and deal damage if you step on it. So be warned for this. For the final phase for the last spring of this health bar, the fire expands on both corners. So that was extreme by the way, and impossible to pass this chapter. Bad selection of shades can help to defeat him easily. Out of his abilities, it's the hardest one I played with him, but good for the most competent boss in Act 3. So I deserve him to give an A for the hardest boss. Move on to the fourth boss, Torment. Has a seducing charm and to inflict pain on men, so it is based on the scene, and are going to attack her after the first health bar loss. She seems to like pressure from pain she received, but when about the second phase, beware. Her magic uses to entangle and damages the player for about a half of your max health. When slow motion on my actual recording saves my life. Yeah, I was kind of nervous still. I think she is sadistically enjoyed her part as well as her magic. Very ominous by the way, but not much based on my skill gameplay with the help of shades. So in all means, I'll rank her a B. Don't worry, it'll be a short fight if shades can help. Next is Master, from one of the Titan's bodyguards from Ccto. Not only one, but 3 forms. We have Fire, Thunder, and Poison. First one is Fire. At the start of the fight, Fire appears and damages the player over time if close. Then for the next phase, it widens the radius and a slight damage increase. But until the last phase widens the round big circle of radius and a bit slight of damage to the player. But don't worry, you will fall from fire. Just strike back. For the second element, Thunder doesn't have effects until the second phase. But on the second phase, the static charge sets on him and he will reflect. So be cautious to that. And for the final phase, Master's electricity is building up and be warned, will be struck down for up to 3 times lightning charges, or if you hit Master's electricity will also struck down on the same charges you receive. So wait for his effect until you fight back. And for the last element, Poison. The most dangerous element and has the toxic skin that inflicts the maximum poisons on you. Once you successfully hit, it'll inflict your damage over time you receive, and the worst part is, the maximum poisons received, the faster gonna die. That's lethal for the first phase. So wait for up to 7 to 10 seconds to wear off his ability. After his first health bar loss, same on the second phase from the first phase. For the final phase, toxic cloud appears as his last round and quite impossible to finish him. When you close to that receives maximum poisons, it could be worse for you. So Il decided by random to meet one of the master's elements after the stage 9. So out of these three, the easiest one is fire. For him, I'll give him a D. Then Thunder, I'll go for a B. And the last one, Poison, he deserves the best element and the hardest boss. I give him an overall S. And for the final boss on Act 3, if I pronounce correctly, Talek is one of the hardest and impossible boss I've played so far. This ability can spawn electrifying rays anywhere, and pass or gets close, causing damage on a short time. On the second to final phase, he'll activate spawn rays on both sides and directions. And the worst part is, sometimes too much rays, or sometimes called RNG if I'm not mistaken, can stutter your gameplay or causing lag to lose your current fight regardless of your settings. Or maybe sometimes it gets worse if you play too long with Talek. So Shades can help to oust him immediately with extra precaution. So far, it is deemed impossible for the players who can defeat him. Even new players cannot. But you can do it with the help of Shades, and the skill is a plus and a must. Now, there are two S-bosses are currently in from Act 3, but we have Act 4 as the last one. Let's move on. The first one is Spark. So, she plays fewer miss on the first phase, and some traps place anywhere. So be observed and stay away from these traps. Not only that, she shoots with a rage weapon. On the second to final phase, more mist are placed even foggier and can see their placed traps. Sometimes, some lags occasionally happen, especially on the last phase, due to that mist, so be warned to that. So based on my gameplay, I faced lags with a lot of mist covered. Maybe not almost, but I managed through Shades to defeat her before I oust 2 to examine Spark, and due to that miss, I give her an A to this ability. Okay, Trickster is the next as the second boss. At the start of fight, he drinks and blows with a red cloud that immobilizes your movements if it gets close to it. Thankfully, it's not that far or I dodge from this one. After his aura fades, he passed out or he needs to rest, but I have to attack even if he is about to use it again. Then, when I bait on him, he uses a super slash with a flame, and if distance is too far, he's about to throw a bottle. Please let me know what is he throwing about. Honestly, it's one of the easiest boss because due to the distance at the beginning, he lacks the effect of the radius from that cloud or occasionally resting after using. It's not good enough for Trickster, so hardly I'll give him a D for the easiest boss for him, but good enough. Next is Shin. SF2 doesn't have his ability, and now he has a poison on their both hands, and he rolled a bomb on their land either hit or not, explodes with a toxic cloud, damages over time and immobilizes your movements. So dodge in the right time. After his first health bar was lost, Shin is about to change randomly with your weapons, either Sai, Claws, or his original weapon, Kukris, and keeps going to attack every time. The funny thing is, I keep dodging that I'm about to be killed in one shot while my equipment was under level, but luckily, I survived, yeah. This third boss wants me to kill suddenly, and I think his DOT poison is strong enough. Alright, I think it's the hardest boss on Act 4, so I'm hardly between A and S due to his DOT, but with his ability, I go for S in my personal opinion. But no worries, this is my rank for him. The fourth boss, surprisingly, was from previous SF2 has a fly attack. Additionally, a water-based element with magic, plus after she's using magic, appeared the water on their hands too. So be aware or you get soaked and knocked down. Again on the same ability from SF2, the fly attack appears, so it's better to roll forward or back roll to dodge. And that gameplay, I threw a bomb at her, but the explosion hits. That's called a skill. Overall, it's considered as fair to be honest, unlike the damage return effect on was from SF2. Nothing to be worried about since the shades are now applicable only on water to her. So far, I give her a B on this rank. For the second to the last boss, Assassin. One of the Titan's bodyguards from SF2, and now it has a single sword that he used from two-hand sword. The ability has electrifying element where the throws or the sword that hits to the player will be counted. And that lightning charge applied at the number of charges for up to 5 times. Throws have 10 needles to attack and it'll generate charges. If after 5 times, it's struck. And it'll be the same for sword applicable to the same charges to the player received. Not only that, he has a ranged weapon through overthrow and struck down to the player. Now for the final phase, he activates invisibility at the right corner. To discover a silhouette, you have to be hit in order to see, and if no one hits, will resume the effect. So Assassin is good considered his ability. And maybe it's a bit hard, so in my personal opinion, I'll give an A for him.
And for the last boss, Nebiri. The leader of the pirate's crew has only 2 health bars, but we have 2 phases later after this one. The first phase throws a gunpowder barrel rolls, whether I touch or to be hit. When rolling, it sends on that direction and explodes with a fire lane to the end. Keep watching, mortar valleys appear from the sky. And keep an eye on Thorny Rope Spear, it pulls you and kicks back to you as damage. When first phase is done, you hoping that this is over. Second phase appears, and he changes the weapon with an anchor. So beware of shooting cannons to you, and some mortar valleys are coming. With this new rework, this is considered as easy since it's only 2 health bars on each base. But with his abilities are now much harder and improve the rework for this boss. So, if I combine overall on these 2 phases, I'll give him an A for this well played boss. That's it. There are now 24 bosses from all acts, and I rank each of them based on their ability and skills. What do you think on their ranks? And if you have suggestions on their rankings on shades, check out my Discord on my main channel or leave the comments. That's all for today's video.
If you like this video, please consider to subscribe for more upcoming videos. Hope you guys like it, and I'll see you on the next video. See you next time.